Dacetonians, it is I, Chris the Dace Man Dace, back with another edition of the Dace Man Show. Joining me tonight, we've got Mr. Mike Payton.
Oh, that's me. It's me. It's the Mikey P.
I've got all the way from London, Mr. Michael Burhan.
It's the Mikey B.
And newcomer to the show, and hopefully a regular, our Eeyore, none other than Dan Ralph.
I'm flexing.
And that's what he brings to the table. We've got a loaded show for you tonight, guys. We're going to go through some celebrity news, going to tap into some sports and give you some MLB around the week, like what happened in this past week. We're going to take on a very sensitive topic to Mr. Dan Ralph. Who cost the Germans the war in World War II? Was it the Japanese or was it the Italians? See, he's already grunting. We have your douche bag of the week, and I'm going to give you my top 5 comic reads for when you're laying out on the beach. So, without further ado, let's jump right into celebrity news. Now, remember, as we go through celebrity news, you can call in at 760-512-7247 and weigh in with your opinions. Once again, that's 760-512-7247, and hopefully you're listening live at megapowersradio.com. So the first story we've got that's transpired over this week, I don't know if you guys remember, the Ex-MTV DJ or video DJ or person who probably hosted a reality show, Kennedy, says that Michael Jordan tried to take her virginity in a game of chance with dice. I didn't remember Kennedy until I saw this story and said, oh, I remember her. Apparently she wrote a book, and within that book it says that. So I guess my question to you guys, and we'll start with you, Mr. Payton, is would you roll the dice to take Kennedy's virginity?
Oh, my first question is who?
That's exactly how she was a video DJ from back in the 90s, and she's meh. She's really not that great looking.
I'm trying to find a picture of her, but all I can find are pictures of the former president.
I think you'd have a better opportunity with him. Like I think he is a lot.
I would totally do John F. Kennedy, and for that matter, I would do Michael Jordan.
I would bang his brains out, John F. Kennedy, for sure.
I don't know much about this Ex-MTV star. I mean, listen, dirty things go down in the behind the scenes with sports stars all the time. I mean, I'm sure she's the one who actually put up this opportunity. She has no reason to be complaining about it or trying to make a star of herself all these years later when she obviously put herself into that opportunity.
Yeah, I think I've got a cover of what she looks like, and she's not that good looking.
So we have a trend going here now that I just realized this is the Dace Man Show. We spend the first part of our show judging how hot women are, and I kind of like that vibe.
Oh, wait, is it this geeky-looking chick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's all right. I mean, she's not, like, supermodel hot. I mean, if I was she's probably hotter than any girl I'd ever be with, but
yeah.
Michael Jordan, I think he could do a lot better.
But when she was on MTV, she looked like this. I'll just get it for you now.
Oh, she's like long time ago MTV, like early 90s MTV.
Yeah, that's what she looked like on MTV.
Oh, my gosh.
Back when there was music videos.
I would throw the dice at her.
Welcome to the chat, Dan Ralph. So, obviously, you would not have sex with this woman?
No way in hell.
Oh, good to know. I, for one, think if Michael Jordan wanted to take somebody's virginity, he would have just taken it. He's Michael fucking Jordan. But at the same time, she's not the... I'm sure there was a lot better looking video DJs back then.
I pretty much doubt that she got a job as far up in MTV as she did without fucking somebody. So
yeah,
I doubt she was a virgin.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of women, this is good news for me because I've had a crush on her since Scrubs Season 8. Eliza Coupe has been hit with divorce papers by her husband, Randall Whittinghill. So she's back on the market, and I'm thrilled. Don't know how you guys feel about
Again,
that.
who?
She was...
Ooh, she is hot.
She was Joe.
She was Joe, yes.
Yeah.
Denise in Scrubs, that was her name.
Giggity, giggity.
I think her, mean streak on that show, really turned me on because she just did not care about anything.
Well, Payton, she's roughly our age, so, you know.
Oh, so she's too old for me?
Kind of. I know you like them young, but...
I mean, last week we were talking about, 16-year-olds or 26-year-olds, so obviously she's way too old for me.
Well, I was bashing 16-year-olds, not in that way.
you're not setting yourself up very good there.
But yeah, I would.
Nice. How about you, Dan?
I would blow her boat.
On Eliza?
Yeah.
I'd bang her.
You are just Mr. Talkative. I love it.
He just sounds like the type of guy who would lay there and let her bang him. He'd be like, okay. One sec. I'm ready. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
I got no problem with that.
And gone.
Followed by, make me a sandwich. We are done.
Oh, she does that. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Get the pickles.
Moving on to the next topic, Terminator 2 star Edward Furlong, who is apparently still alive, pled no contest to domestic violence, but got 6 charges dropped dismissed in a plea deal for assaulting his ex-girlfriend. Mind you, the ex-girlfriend who was concerned when he went disappearing. I think we should start a bet. How long does this guy got until he dies?
My God, he looks like he's on crack.
Yes. He's on meth. To be more precise, he's on meth.
Yeah, well, you can tell. He looks like the kind of guy you'd meet in a back alley who would ask you to suck your dick for a bit of meth. So, yeah, I think I'd give him a year unless he cleans himself up.
Yeah, he's just like the Terminator 3 star Nick Stahl. I mixed up my facts. He's on meth. So these guys are just like downward spiral. Terminator is like a black plague for actors and actresses.
That's a shame. The thing is, it's not surprising because Hollywood does that to people, and I'm not saying everyone's like that, but that it does tend to do that to people. There's some people who can get through Hollywood, without touching anything, and there's others who just go totally the opposite route. So,
what I want to know is, what is Bobby Budnick up to these days? Anybody know?
I giggled because I don't know who he is.
That's the redhead kid who was in Terminator 2. He also played Bobby Budnick on Salute Your Shorts.
Let me have a look.
Did I say Iron Man 2? I meant Terminator. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. So when it comes to like these young stars, and unfortunately we've seen such tragic incidents where they pass away too soon. The first to mind is Corey Haim, which I get chills when I say that because I actually met him once. He passed away. It's just like they hit their fame young and they burn out when they hit like early 30s. It's crazy. Dan, you were a fan. Well, I think you're a fan of the Terminator series. What do you think of this?
I've only seen the second one.
Well, he's from the second one.
John Connor, boy.
I don't really remember much of that movie.
You are amazing. You are a beautiful person, Dan Ralph.
Thank you.
I actually just watched Terminator 2 this week, so I actually have a very fresh memory of what this kid was like, and he played the part of a troublemaker. So I guess life imitating art. I don't know.
He had a promising career as well.
What else did he do?
Exactly.
Can't think off the top of my head, but he did do some films. I believe.
Wasn't he in like a gay porno? I may just be starting a rumor.
You probably are just starting a rumor.
I'm going to go with that. He was in gay porn. He was the Donginator.
Oh, he was in American History X. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
And Detroit Rock City. Oh, what a beautiful career he's had.
Yeah, he was kind of like the Kurt Cobain of movies.
Oof. And I think on that note, we've spent entirely too much time on Edward Furlong. So let's move on right along. Last week we had a baby announcement about Northwest. This week we have a baby announcement as well. Jessica Simpson popped out, baby number 2, and they named the little guy Ace. Now, that's somewhat of a normal name. I'm cool with Ace. I actually had an Ace work for me.
Last name Ventura?
Ace Johnson sounds like an awesome action movie star. Good for him. I'd totally see a movie with Ace Johnson as the headliner.
His middle name, though, is Knute.
You don't need to say the middle name.
Yeah, so we'll just go with Ace Johnson. That'd be freaking badass.
Sounds like a porn star, just saying.
Either way, he's got a better future than Northwest. He's going to end up on a compass. So at least Ace Johnson has a fighting chance in Hollywood. I think the real question, we're glad, congratulations, yay, you had a baby. When are you going to lose the weight? Because it took forever last time for you to lose the weight. So get back in, you got like back into your hot body and then immediately announced like, oh, I'm pregnant again. Well, that's because I guess your husband decided to start having sex with you again and couldn't stand the sight of you before. Now, I think she's been, I remember her in Dukes of Hazzard and I thought she was gorgeous in that. But after she had the baby, it was just like, she kept saying she was trying. She's like me. When I go on a diet, I'm like, oh, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm going to lose weight. And I'm just shoving ice creams down my throat.
Nice. I can vouch for that.
Dan has spent those lonely nights with me in the basement as I ate a pint of chocolate chip cookie dough from Ben & Jerry's.
I don't blame
the
you.
fatty song.
I don't blame you or her because ice cream is amazing. We could have a whole podcast about ice cream, in my opinion.
Oh, yes. It's fantastic. It's the bane of my existence. If there was no ice cream, I would be Dolph Ziggler status.
Chris, I actually have a little bit of fun fact for you that you could take advantage of. I know you're a man who's been doing a lot with the DDP yoga lately and probably even working out a bit. And Mr. Brand, you could take this too. Chocolate milk is actually considered better for you now to take after your workout than a protein shake.
Yeah, I've been doing that like loads.
So
chocolate milk is absolutely a miracle.
How long until after the workout? Because I worked out maybe an hour before this podcast. It's ironically doing DDP yoga. Can I have chocolate milk after the show?
I don't know how. I imagine you would take it at the same time you would take a protein shake. Don't you have that right after your workout?
Yeah, I don't do those because I'm afraid that I'll stop doing it but keep taking the protein shakes and then look like Louis Anderson. It's like, oh, this tastes pretty good. I'm totally working out if I drink my protein shake.
Oh, crusty. Were they diet milkshakes?
And that's how that's my workout is the worst workout on the planet. I will hit it hard for the first 3 days, and that fourth day I'm eating cheesesteaks, ice cream, and just swarmed by Twinkies and shit. I'm just disgusting.
I was good the last 3 days. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is my cheat day. I'm going to eat every fucking thing on the planet.
You know what you need? You need a sound bite from Scott Steiner go, he's fat!
And, if I played that on repeat on my friggin' phone as I'm running and shit like that, I think that would give me motivation. Right now, it's Curtis Axel's theme giving me motivation.
Ooh.
But since we're continuing on the fat train, let's roll into the next topic. That racist, Paula Deen, was offered a sex tape from a MILF Porn Company.
Was this the Paula Deen that was fired recently from a cooking show?
Yeah, she's been dropped from everything.
Right, so she was offered to do a porn sex tape.
Oh, yeah, because once you tank everywhere else, you might as well just jump right into porn. Hence our douche bag of the week last week, which we will not speak of her name.
So,
I wonder if this is the same company that offered China a deal.
No, not Vivid. I doubt it.
Okay, you know who they are by name.
I know every porn company by name. You name me a star, I'll tell you what company they work for.
Paula Deen.
Sasha Grey.
Sasha Grey. Yeah, that'd be Vivid actually, wouldn't it?
I'm pretty sure she's been everywhere.
Yeah. She has been on Brazzers a couple of times. Just saying.
No, who has?
I think to link it back to weight loss, if Paula Deen did a sex tape in like a kitchen, I would never eat again.
Ugh.
Dude, if she did a sex tape, I'd probably have to kill myself.
Rubs a little bacon on her nipple. Oh, God, I am throwing up for weeks.
Here's the question. Would she do interracial?
Why?
One would only... That's how you get back into good standing. Like, look, I love doing black dudes. This is how I roll. Come on.
Paula Deen likes her sausage.
Exactly. A little burnt. That's what she likes about it. So... I think that's a great way for her to get back into good standings with her networks. Granted, the network would be like, well, we don't want you really cooking food if you're having sex all the time. But, we'll let you write some books again about how you had sex at the age of 80 with a young stallion.
Well, does she could contract James Dean because apparently he does that sort of thing,
And then well, we'll pretend to leak it.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Leading on with more very angry people, we get into Alec Baldwin. So apparently he went batshit crazy again and started slinging homophobic slurs at a British reporter. This is probably in your territory, Mr. Burhan.
The thing is, the guy kind of deserved it, because there's certain things that you shouldn't do. And, you know, I'll let you finish the story first, of course.
Well, apparently, like, this entire scenario came about the tweet, because the British reporter accused Alec Baldwin's girlfriend, of tweeting during Gandolfini's funeral. Now, he could have just came out and said, nope, that didn't happen. You're an idiot. Go away. Instead, he went on a vintage Alec Baldwin rant, and like you were saying, he did not approach it any good way.
Yeah, it's one of those things with Baldwin. He never goes half out with stuff like that. He will just whip your ass in terms of the way his comments run. And, you know, if anyone's heard of his conversation with Shia LaBeouf that they had on Twitter when they were beefing, it's kind of, you can kind of empathize with what happened with his situation. Like, one, his friend just died. Mm-hmm. Two, his wife was at the funeral, and, you know, you kind of are protective over your loved ones. And three, it's not the right time and the right moment to. And who would really want to report that someone's texting at a funeral?
Is that news?
It's not news. It's it. And this is where, you know, there's a fine line between the media and places like TMZ, for instance. Everyone wants to hear the latest gossip so badly that it's just gotten to the point where everything's liable nowadays. You know, she's texting at James Gandolfini's funeral. Let's put her on the show for no fucking reason, you know, and show all her tweets. And, yeah, he had every right to get riled up about it. But what he said, yeah, that's another story. He did get his Twitter account closed, though. So, you know, I think that he probably did that out of his own, to save face on his own level. In terms of that British reporter, the dude needs to really think about what he's writing. Does he really want to write shit like this, or does he actually want to report real news?
Oh, absolutely. And the sad thing is, too, at least with Alec Baldwin, like, GLAAD normally goes after people, especially if they're a conservative, and will, forgive the phrasing, but balls to the wall and just keep going after that person for what they said and all their slurs and make them apologize. They didn't really go after Baldwin. They kind of gave him a pass because I think for the most part, Alec Baldwin has been a very vocal liberal, and he supports that type of stuff. But when he gets in an argument, there's no filter. It just completely goes away.
Would you? Let me ask you guys a question. Leave that to the open on the panel here. If someone like you cared about a loved one was put in a spotlight for no bloody apparent reason apart from the fact that they were tweeting at a funeral, would you get pissed off?
Oh, absolutely. And I kind of see Baldwin's point. When I get riled up, which is kind of rare, but when it does happen, all kinds of shit just comes spewing out of my mouth with no filter, and I regret 90% of it later. But there's no filter. Whatever insult I can conjure up in my brain, it's coming out my mouth.
Yeah, of course. I'm the same way. If someone like gets me to the point where I'm seething, I'm gonna say shit. I'm probably not gonna mean half of what I say, but I'm gonna say shit.
Yeah, I don't think Alec Baldwin has any problems with gay people. I mean, he is brothers with Steven. So yeah, I think he was just saying this, like you're saying. It was in the moment. He was hot-headed. Words just came out of his mouth at this guy who pissed him off. He's not trying to take gay people down a notch.
Yeah, and that's what I think as well. People tend to think that because you're a celebrity, everything in your life's fair game. You know, your family, your kids, when it shouldn't be that way. At the end of the day, you're in the spotlight. They should be targeting you. If I, for instance, let's go to someone like Jim Carrey, who's been making some stupid comments on in the news recently as well, and backing out of movies in regards to promotion, even though he took money for said movies. He goes on Twitter and he says something stupid. No one's going to attack his kid. No one's going to attack whoever he's dating, they're going to attack Jim Carrey. What right in this guy's mind did he have to attack Baldwin's missus? None.
No, not at all. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it is. It's really, really ridiculous. And in terms of the level of respect, the media, sometimes they can be guilty for doing some stupid shit, and this, I believe, is one of those moments. And I think the individual who wrote that article needs to stop sitting there saying, oh, look, he's saying gay slurs. He should be sitting there thinking, well, I pissed off Alec Baldwin. I'm fucked. Yeah. Because Baldwin would probably go down to his house and punch him in the face.
What words were used? Just give me initials if you want here.
He called him a queen.
He called him. That's it.
Pretty much.
He called him a queen.
Yeah, he was making a lot of references to queens and stuff like that. That's about it.
Oh Jesus! Isn't there a show called The King of Queens?
Yeah. Oh well, good point.
And also, queen is actually not a gay remark. A queen can be inferred to the fact that someone's a diva. Mm-hmm. So that's just not, that's not a gay remark. That's just it's like calling someone a girl.
Yeah, and probably filled it with a lot of other colorful words around it, but queen was the thing that stood out the most.
A lot of them was him threatening the guy's life.
Oh,
he was going to punch him in the face.
Yeah, and he said he was going to shove his foot up his ass, but he would enjoy it.
Yep. I remember when Christian Bale said someone wrote an editorial around him and about his weight fluctuation, and what he said was, and this was in The Guardian, I believe, over here. He goes, I wanted to go to that reporter's house and piss on his shoes. And you get someone pissed off, that's what's going to happen. They're going to say comments. They're going to want to punch you in the face. It's because you're exposing something that you shouldn't really be exposing, and all because you want people to read your material. And this day and age, society kind of is getting a bit dumber now in terms of television. Reality TV is becoming a commonplace. TMZ is getting away with a lot of stuff, and people are invading other people's private space now, and it's getting to the point where enough is kind of enough, and they have to know their limits. And the limitations is families off limits. As I said, if it was my kids or whoever I was dating, I would be a bit pissed off too. And trust me, I'll probably be saying more colourful words than queen.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll be referring to raping that person. That's as far as I'm going to go.
With a shoe. We'll throw it there.
With a shoe with a hedgehog inside,
You see, you're kind. I would do a porcupine. I would make them fucking suffer.
Exactly.
You want to talk shit on me? I'm going to make you shit out of 16 different holes.
Exactly. So, it's like next time you drink OJ, that thing is going to be seeable.
Yeah. So. Moving on, Alec Baldwin, I feel bad for you, but at the same time, just tone it down. I'm glad you got rid of your Twitter. It should be a lot less painful for you, but I know you're used to striking paparazzi on the street too. So
yeah, well, he's a passionate individual. That's pretty much as far as I can go for Baldwin. Yeah. Never done anything wrong. If you're talking about someone else like Charlie Sheen or them lot, then yeah, okay, I would give you that. Yeah.
So. In other news, our final story today, so remember, you guys can dial in at 760-512-7247 to join in on the topic. If you think Alec Baldwin needs to get his ass ripped a new hole and we're kind of defending him, call in. Tell us we're wrong. We're going to move on. If you call in and you want to revisit one of the topics, we'll stop, go back. We've got plenty of time. But we're going to move on to our last topic for celebrity news this week. TLC are coming up on their 20th anniversary of Waterfalls, and they went back into the studio to remake the version. Now, the problem that they're running into, and this is a bunch of he says, she says stuff, Lisa Left Eye Lopez's rap will not be in the new version. Apparently.
She's, no more?
Well, they were going to remaster it. They were going to include it again. But what happened was Lopez's family is very upset that she was excluded from it, but the remaining TLC members are claiming that the estate of Lisa Lopez denied them the rap. And I tell you, I listened to the new version. It's terrible. That segment where Lisa's original rap was, it's choppy. It's a new Japanese pop star, and it's just awful. It's terrible, and I can't sing along with it anymore in the shower. It's just, it bugs me.
Well, the way I see it is, if people don't like the new version, just go back to the old one.
That I'm not putting this new one on my iPod for sure.
This will probably be pushed enough on the radio stations just because the record labels are paying them to do so, and then in a year it's just going to fade away and people will only remember the original version, if all goes well.
Hopefully, because this new version is terrible. Like, they go into the rap where Lisa's, like, consistent and just, like, doesn't take a breath. It's like sentence, pause, sentence, pause. And the sentences don't even make sense.
Why did this even need to be remade? Like, I understand movie remakes because someone might come in and have a different vision on it. Are you really going to come in and have a different vision with someone else's song and just what?
They tried, and it
just make your own song, make your own version of the song. Like, you don't need to retool it. Just make your own damn cover of it if you want to do that. If I don't know who's a big female star these days, Adele wants to do her own Waterfalls. Go ahead.
I can't stand Adele.
The thing is, when it comes to remakes anyway, they're never any good.
No.
You know,
well, I can test that because I actually enjoy Puddle of Mud's rediscovered disc. If it's done right, it sounds good.
But I wouldn't really call them remakes. The Puddle of Mud ones I'd consider tributes.
Yeah, covers. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not actually like going out there to remake a song or to do a techno version of a freaking song. You know.
Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you, steer clear of this one.
I got one for you though.
Go ahead.
Layla by what's his name? I don't know why I'm blanking out his name. He's a famous rock musician. Eric Clapton. Yeah, the original rock version, like it was okay. It wasn't that popular, but then he came out with the acoustic version of it, and that fucking blew up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, that was Clapton. You know, he was the best.
Oh yeah, it wasn't some other tool coming in and doing it. It wasn't like John Mayer coming in and saying he was going to do it.
Ugh.
Yeah. If I could see, like, say if Usher did a version of it, I would punch him in the face.
So apparently we have a caller. I've made them hold for a little while. I'm going to bring them on now. Caller, what's your name and where are you from? I guess he hung up.
Oh, weird.
Maybe he got pissed off because I cussed Usher.
It could be, or it could have been like the throwing up noises that Dan Ralph did. There it is again, and we just lost 3 more viewers.
We've been doing a lot of those noises tonight.
Yeah. So, Dan, do you have any opinions on this TLC, or was your throwing up noise the opinion?
I've yet to hear the new one, so I can't really comment, but I did like the original.
See? It's a great... the caller is back. Let's see who it is. Caller, what's your name? Where are you from?
Hi.
Is this Frank?
Hi.
It's Frank, everybody! Yay!
Hi, Dan Ralph and Michael Burnham and Anthony Mango and Chris Irvin and Brittany Ratcliffe and Sarah Franklin and Lisa Scambit and other people that you know.
Yay! Frank's here, and he just completely named people that aren't on the show.
Oh, well, I didn't know who was on the show, so I didn't want to offend anybody.
It's okay. You missed Mike Payton, though. Woo!
I did what?
You missed Mike Payton.
It's fine. Everybody misses me
when
I'm gone.
Mike Payton?
He was on the show with us last week.
I like him. He has good things to say.
So,
I don't like this.
I don't work tomorrow, so I don't work tomorrow, so I've been drinking heavily. So hi.
That's our best kind of guest. I really think if you're listening to the show, you should be half lit.
You should be stoned as fuck if you're listening to this show. That's your target audience.
Smokers are jokers.
You need to talk about ways that kids can get high. Did you know that you can make meth using things you can find in your cabinet?
Huh. I see. I feel like we need to have a science day.
Yeah.
So,
Breaking Bad
are you agreeing to doing a science day with us?
I'll do it. Out of the science day. Are you kidding me?
Awesome. I will let you make meth out front and possibly call the cops just to see the reaction. I think it would make a great video.
Franklin Klein of Deptford, New Jersey is making meth in his house.
You do realize the NSA listens to all podcasts, right?
The NSA is already
Franklin
coming
Klein
after
is
me for
currently
child
high
porn.
on meth.
Dan Ralph fucks children.
No, but I make him cry.
You up your dick with a teddy bear afterwards.
What are we even talking about today?
We just went down the celebrity news. You missed all of that. And we're getting ready to go into MLB news. But if you want to weigh in on any topics, we'll do a quick frank sum up. I'll give you the topic.
Right.
You give me the first word that pops in your mind. How's that?
Well, after you have the frank summary, I'll make you one last bit of celebrity news.
Sure. Well, let's do Burhan's news, and then we'll go right into the frank sum up.
Okay, for most of you probably know this because it's kind of commonplace now. Jim Carrey has decided to back out promoting Kick-Ass 2 because, well, he's against guns again. Even though he got paid to do the movie, he goes, the whole shooting with the kids thing is the reason why he cannot support the movie any longer.
He's an idiot. That shooting happened after he had already wrapped up filming and everything.
Yeah. So there's the Sandywood thing, and he's just like sitting there going on about how he protests it and stuff, and it's just, it makes me laugh because he was always anti-gun. He was always anti-gun. Before this happened, before anything prior to that happened, he was also always anti-gun. And he takes money to go to Kick-Ass and do this movie where there's heavy violence, heavy gunplay, and now can't support it. So he's not doing his job to support the movie. Now, I would be more inclined to empathize with him if he donated the money to charity.
Yeah, give the money back or give it to charity. Exactly.
But he hasn't done that.
Oh, God. Jim Carrey, what are you doing?
Am I the one that doesn't really see a huge problem with this? Because he may have signed on to do the movie under different pretenses of what he thought the movie was, and maybe the movie changed during production. Maybe once he saw the finished product, he was like, "Oh, this is way more gratuitous than I thought it was going to be. I can't possibly support this." You can't blame the guy for having morals on this kind of thing.
So you're saying to me he never read the script?
Are you saying you just didn't hear what I just said? Maybe he thought it was a different movie before he got into it.
It's called Kick-Ass.
So?
But it's also Kick-Ass 2, so he probably would have gone back and watched the first one, wouldn't he?
Yeah, but that's the first one and not this one. Movies change. I mean, if you look at Batman Returns Batman Forever compared to the first Batman, those are very different movies.
Right.
And from what I've heard, there's a scene in the comics, and I think they actually went and portrayed it in the movie that does with like a village or something. I haven't read it. That is very graphic and very disturbing to the point that people are gonna find it hard to watch. And maybe when he went and acted it, it didn't feel right, and maybe he saw it and went, "Holy shit, that's bad."
Mm-hmm. And there's nothing in a contract that states you have to go out and promote these things. That's not required by an actor. That's something that they do extra because they want their movie to do well. They get more money because a lot of these guys usually get a percentage of the box office. But does he have to go out and rip it? No, he could just keep his mouth shut and just stay in his studio apartment in Hollywood and not worry about any of it. But if he's got these morals and he wants to stand up for them, good on him, I say. I don't think there's necessarily a huge problem with this. It's not like he's bashing anyone specifically, saying that the actor is the director is an asshole or everyone else on the film is terrible actors. He's just saying that this movie isn't something he supports.
Well, the thing is, he's saying that it's graphically violent. Now, my issue with this, by reading the comics, I've read the comics to Kick-Ass, and I've read the Kick-Ass 2 comics where the movie's based on. I've also watched the previous movie, and you've got Hit Girl, who's a young child wielding guns. This is the thing. If exactly what you said there, if he basically, the first movie, he never watched it, he was in a bubble, he was in a cave somewhere and didn't know anything about this movie before he took it on, then I would agree with you. But with all the material sitting there in front of him, there was no way in hell that he didn't watch this movie before he said yes. can't be. And I think, to me, there's fine taking a stance on it. And as I said before, he's highly against the whole gun laws, the people wielding guns. He wants tougher laws to tighten the gun laws in the States, which is fine. I have no issue with that whatsoever. But you can't be hypocritical about stuff like that. You can't sit there and say, well, I'm against this when it suits me. And that's what I think he's done.
No, but once again, he may not have known the extent that guns were being used. I mean, you can use guns in a movie and not have it be over the top gratuity. You could have it just be something that's supporting the narrative, and you could have guns in a movie without a gun even firing. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I know I've seen movies like that where you'll see a gun and they'll specifically make cuts and do things so that the gun actually isn't firing to hold it down to a PG rating or something like that. So maybe that's something he thought this movie was going to be more like. Maybe that's the way his agent proposed the movie to him. And once he actually got himself in there, he's already under contract. He has to finish it out. And now he just doesn't want to be a part of the things going forward with it. I completely can understand this guy's situation. And even though you're saying he had to have seen the movie, maybe he hasn't. Jim Carrey's a busy dude.
I'll have to agree to disagree on that one. And it's not just on this subject. He's done silly things like this before, but, that's another story. And in terms of, as an actor, I'm a fan of Jim Carrey's, big fan of Jim Carrey's, but in terms of this situation, I just think he's being entirely hypocritical in regards to this matter. I think in terms of the movie, he doesn't want to support it, fair enough, but he should have made that decision before, taking the role on. That's what I'm going to say on it.
I agree with both of you, and I'd really like to see what he does after it comes out, because I'm sure it's going to get decent box office, because Kick-Ass 1 did well. If he takes any of the profit, then I agree, he's a hypocrite. Don't sit there and bash the movie, don't promote it, and then take the benefits of it.
Yeah, of course. It's like someone saying, well, you know what, I hate when people get over-sexualized in the movie, and then they're in a scene taking their freaking clothes off.
Yeah. Cool. Dan, Frank, any opinions on this topic?
All right, so I have to ask, what exactly about the guns bothers Jim Carrey?
There's like a scene, I think, where I could be completely off. I didn't read the comics. I don't know exactly what the plot is, but they go into like a town or a village and light the friggin' place up.
I don't understand him. He's done 2 movies where something like that has happened. Dumb and Dumber and Fun with Dick and Jane.
But those are kind of comedies, and I don't think they actually show the gore that'll be shown in Kick-Ass.
No, there's no blood, but he fires the gun.
Yeah, he was just saying the use of gun violence. He doesn't like the level of gun violence in Kick-Ass 2 after the whole Sandy Hook situation. And as I said before, he was anti-gun before he got casted for the movie.
Fair enough. So, Mr. Frank, are you ready to run down topics?
You know what?
Go ahead.
You know what Jim needs? Jim needs to have sex with another, playmate. He needs to fuck Carmen Electra is what he needs to do, because he's just sad about Jenny McCarthy, it sounds like. He's just not over Jenny McCarthy, and he's like, what am I doing? Playing fucking superhero right now? I used to bang Jenny McCarthy. And he's just sad, and he's like, I don't even want to fucking do the movie, guys. I'm out. I used to have sex with Jenny McCarthy, and now I'm not. And her titties got taken away from cancer, and I can't even masturbate to that, and I'm sad. So we should hug Jim Carrey. We should pity him. We shouldn't say, hey,
well
do
said,
Kick-Ass 2 and shut your mouth.
You're absolutely right. You know what? I will pity Jim Carrey when he does another Dumb and Dumber and back out.
I want to see another Mask. That's
okay.
He needs a new Mask 2. And where
there is a Mask 2.
You guys know there were sequels to both of those movies.
Yes, and we tend to try and forget about those sequels.
I tried.
Dumb and Dumber was a prequel.
Okay.
The Dumb and Dumber, the only thing that made that prequel was Bob Saget.
The shit.
There's shit everywhere.
It's like everyone knows that line. Oh, there's shit on the wall.
He's shit on the towels. He's just shit on my car. Oh boy, oh boy. So
yeah,
Frank,
about that.
You ready to run down the topics before we go into baseball news? Okay, so the first topic, Mr. Frankenklein. Michael Jordan tried to take video DJ MTV star Kennedy's virginity. Thoughts?
He didn't take anybody's virginity. They gave him virginity. He's Michael Jordan. I would give him my virginity. I would go back in time to give Michael Jordan my virginity. So he did Space Jam. He saved the world from monster aliens with Bugs fucking Bunny, and you're going to tell me you're not going to let him fuck you? Get the fuck out of here. He's Michael Jordan. He gets to have sex with anything and everything. And if you don't like it, then you're not American.
Well said, especially with the 4th of July around the corner. That is perfect.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm glad we're rolling back to the topics for you. Second topic.
I'm on your side. Not Michael
Eliza
Jackson.
Coupe is divorcing her husband, Randall Whittinghill. Eliza Coupe, if you don't know who she is, she was in Scrubs for season 8 and season 9. She was Denise. She's a blonde.
Was she in Scrubs when Scrubs wasn't good?
Okay, moving on to the next topic. Terminator 2 star Edward Furlong pleaded no contest to domestic violence, but got 6 other charges dropped. So John Connor in Terminator 2 is beating the shit out of people. Thoughts?
He literally once broke into like a supermarket and released the lobsters. So what the fuck did people expect was going to happen to this guy? At least for a child actor, he's not like doing porn like the kid from A Christmas Story, or he is doing drugs, right? Isn't he like bad into meth and shit?
I think that's Nick Stahl from Terminator 3, the other John Connor. They pick winners.
Wait, I don't remember who the fuck he is. You know what? Just do porn. Just do porn. You just do porn. Everybody just do porn. All actors do porn. That's what everybody just do porn. Fuck it. Actors,
well, I'm going to skip ahead of topic then. I'm going to skip ahead of topic. So Paula Deen was offered a sex tape by a MILF Porn Company.
The world is so shitty. Oh, God. We're not going to make it as a society.
So according to your theories, Paula Deen should go ahead and sign the contract.
I take it back. It was a bad plan. I forgot there's people who aren't pretty in Hollywood. Why would you ever want to see Paula Deen? No. Stop it, brain. Stop it. She's a sweet little old racist woman that makes country fried chicken. I don't want to see her. No. I'd fuck Paula Deen. You know what? Now that I've been thinking about it, I would fuck her just for the story. Like, you go to a barbecue, and everybody's like, oh, there's always that one fucking guy who's like, oh, I broke my leg skateboarding. It's like, yeah, I fucked Paula Deen. I fucked the shit out of Paula Deen.
Jessica Simpson popped out baby number 2, and they named the little toddler Ace.
They named him what?
Ace.
He's a toddler already?
Well, kid. Baby. Doesn't come out as a toddler, Dan Ralph.
That's some funky Miracle Grow.
So, I'm guessing you don't care.
She named it Ace?
Ace Johnson.
Oh.
Well, Ace.
I love that name.
Ace Johnson.
I don't care about Jessica Simpson. How is she even relevant?
She used to be hot.
My God, the kid's name could be
people.
Ace Simpson, and it's still cool.
Okay. So I'm guessing Frank is unimpressed by Jessica Simpson popping out a second baby. We'll move on to the next topic. Alec Baldwin went batshit crazy and flung a few homophobic slurs at a British reporter for the British reporter accusing his wife of tweeting during Gandolfini's funeral.
He's British. British people don't matter. Say whatever you want to British people. Burn him. Go fuck yourself. British people, you lost so many wars. We don't give a fuck about you. Go fix World War II.
He keeps alluding
to... I
to...
don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Frank Klein keeps foreshadowing to future topics in this program. Just talked about World War II, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit later. So the last thing on celebrity news was TLC's Waterfalls was remade for the 20th anniversary, but it's excluding Lisa Left Eye's rap. I'll tell you right now, it's terrible.
She's dead, and we don't need zombies. Zombies are horrifying. Keep her dead. Keep her dead. I'm sorry. She burnt down her husband's mansion once. She's a crazy bitch, and what kind of name is Left Eye? Like, oh, look at me, I'm so cool, I got a left eye. Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people. Not impressed. Not impressed.
Well, you're just saying that. You bet that she won't be chasing waterfalls anytime soon.
Yeah. I don't know what he said. He's very British.
Well, okay, I think that wraps it up for celeb news and Frank's take on it. So we're going to run into real quick.
Bye, everybody. I'm going to go drive a vehicle.
Well, we still have some show left, but are you going to hang up?
Oh. Well, I did say the N-word on air, so, you know.
So you're out?
I should probably not talk anymore. Oh, my God. There's a fucking mob outside of my window. What the? Holy
Take
shit.
pictures. Take pictures and tweet them with the hashtag the Dace Man Show.
All right.
Moving on.
I'm so glad that nobody listens to your show, so I can still be a comedian, and people won't be like, dude, 27 years from now, they're going to be like, you said the N-word on Dace Man Show, and it's going to be Kramer all over again. It's going to be terrible.
And I will be there to tweet about it, saying how I used to know that guy. He was promising.
What do you mean you used to know me? It's 27 years. You're not going to know me in 27 years?
I'm just shooting for 30. Age 30, not 30 years.
You
but I'm just
said
shooting
best friends for life.
I agree.
You said best friends for life.
I may have.
He crossed his
I'm
fingers.
done. I'm calling up Smart Out Moment and seeing what the fuck Tony's up to. You know what? Fuck you, Chris Hayes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Frank
Bye,
Live.
everybody. Enjoy your show.
Bye, Frank.
Bye, Frank. So let's move on to sports news, where we're not being racist or anything. Yeah, shut up and just mute yourself. I'll run through it real quick. Did anybody here sports fans baseball fans besides me?
Nope. I did watch a baseball game this week.
Oh, there you go.
I watched the Yankees lose to the Orioles.
Oh.
That's embarrassing.
Ha ha. Yankees.
I'm a Mets fan, so.
Phillies all the way. So, just to run through the news real quick, and then we'll get on to our topic of the day, since the celeb news ran a little bit long with Frank's drunken rant. First up, Homer Bailey, congratulations, you of the Cincinnati Reds. You threw the first no-hitter of 2013 against the San Francisco Giants. This is his second no-hitter throughout his career. Also, Philly news. Papelbon completely disses Dodgers outfielder Pug, whatever, for the potential call-up to the All-Star game, basically calling him green and saying he hasn't been in the major leagues long enough to get called to the All-Star game. Also in baseball news, Michael Cuttier of the Colorado Rockies, his 27-game hitting streak came to an end this Tuesday, putting him 29 games short of the Joe DiMaggio record of 56 games in a row. And lastly, in MLB news, umpire Ben Runge was dismissed from the MLB due to a drug found in his system. Now, the thing that baffles me is he was dismissed for failing a wellness policy, yet all those players are still in the league and only suspended X amount of games. So that is your MLB news for the week. Now, moving on to our topic of the week, despite all the celebrity news and MLB news that we've gone through already, is the World War II from the German perspective. Who lost the war? Was it Italy or Japan? Some say that Japan lost the war because they got ballsy and went after America. And since America doesn't...
Wasn't it Germany who originally attacked America?
Wasn't it Japan bombed Pearl Harbor?
They did, but didn't Germany bomb some ships? Or am I thinking of World War I?
Probably World War I.
World War
I. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Or was it Italy, who was given the simple task of taking over Africa, most of which is not advanced enough to have guns at that time of history. Yet they failed to get past Egypt. As you can tell from this host's tone of voice, he blames Italy for the loss of World War II for the Germans.
Did they see the rain fall down in Africa?
Toto should have been playing because that obviously scared them the hell away. They were too busy making pizzas and eating cannolis to go down to Africa and actually win the war. Granted, I don't condone World War II from the German side, but I'm just saying from a strategic standpoint, Italy should have had the continent of Africa a lot quicker than what Germany had the continent of Europe. Thoughts?
I gotta blame all three.
Dan Ralph, why?
Well, it's like a game of dodgeball. They're picking teams, and Germany actually made a pick. They should have just passed. Leave the dorky kids on the line and play without them.
So, in this scenario, Italy and Japan are dorky kids.
Yes, Italy lost to Africa, which is a third world military nation. They had nothing, and they lost.
I concur. That aggravates the hell out of me.
And then Japan, who's on the opposite side of the world, decided to attack America, who was playing neutral. Biggest mistake of the war. Biggest.
I concur.
So, I really blame all three for making horrible choices. But unfortunately, Italy did not make a horrible choice. They just suck, period.
Damn it, you're like Switzerland, staying neutral in this whole freaking argument. Dan Ralph, go back on mute.
Germany should have won.
No, well, that's what I'm saying, but then you just went and blamed all three, which really takes the debate out of this debate.
No, Germany should have won 1-2 against France and Britain. Who the hell cares about those two countries?
By the way, I found out what I was thinking about. It was World War II. In April, before Pearl Harbor happened, there was an altercation near U.S.-occupied Iceland with the USS Niblack and a German U-boat.
Huh.
So,
the more
you
you know.
Feel like an asshole.
Well, now I feel like an asshole. Dan Ralph, why would you sit there and get on him like that? You're a terrible co-host.
I'll still do it again. Still was World War I, dude.
Dan Ralph, go back on mute. So, Burhan, since you had front row seats to the war.
Me and Peyton are like roughly the same age.
I know, but you're in Britain, so it makes us allowed to. What was Winston Churchill like? Tell us his thoughts.
They said he had a silver tongue. He just cursed a lot.
So he's like Frank.
Dick.
Yeah, he was just, he would also walk around going, woo, and showing his knob off to everybody.
So the Nature Boy ran the UK back in World War II.
Yes.
I like this version of history.
Yeah. I'm going to keep going with it. Burhan had front row seats. Nature Boy ran the UK. Italy was a bunch of toddlers playing with Play-Doh.
Yes, and also he always used to come out to the Evolution theme song, Line in the Sand.
That's fitting.
It was, and every time he'd have a speech, he would just be sitting there going, mean, woo, Gene. And, then the Americans came in at the last minute, helmed by Vince McMahon, and we basically kicked ass. And then we all had cake.
Oh, that was the greatest war ever.
Yes. There were balloons and floats and this awesome piñata.
And blow-up dolls. Can't forget about blow-up dolls.
Absolutely. Hitler supplied them. The piñata
was actually stationed above Japan, and when we hit the piñata, the force of all that candy falling out was so great they actually thought it was a bomb. But no, it was
I told you Hayden was the same age as me.
This was the shit that America didn't want us to find out. Yeah. They want everybody to think we're such badasses, and all we were doing was busting open piñatas in the countries.
You know what? It's so true. I saw it on a news site one day, and I think it was called KFAB News, but I knew it was true.
Yeah, and you know what? Godzilla is actually a gummy bear that just got really, really wet and just kept absorbing the ocean water and just turned into this huge thing and scared the shit out of Japanese people.
See, this stuff. This stuff is real, man. The more you know, people, the more you know. This is the stuff they keep from us.
We're all going to end up on a plane and charted around the entire world and then get lost by the U.S. government.
Yep. And then you know what's going to happen? Then Payton's going to have a wrestling match with Brock Lesnar on the plane for some weird reason. And then he'll get himself suspended. And he'll go to TNA.
Bum, 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 bum. That's all I got.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Payton, do you have any thoughts on Italy or Japan, or in Dan Ralph's neutral-ass case, all three?
I actually kind of have to agree with him in some ways. I think it is all three. There was absolutely no reason for Germany and Japan to join forces other than, hey, we could be stronger with both sides together. They were fighting completely different wars. They're on complete opposite sides of the globe. I think they could have just kept going about their business, and they could have had their own split. I mean, what was Germany's main goal? Were they trying to take over the United States? No. Was Japan trying to take over the United States? No. So why did they have to join forces against other places like that?
And the fact that the Germans at the time were killing people who weren't blonde-haired and white-skinned, kind of...
Yeah, I mean, if that's not enough of a reason for us to enter a war like we use now when we enter wars, then...
I think, in all fairness, back then we wouldn't have entered the war because he didn't have weapons of mass destruction. He had ovens, and he had lots of them. And we're like, well, that can't be threatening. He's going to make pizza with Italy because Italy sucks.
Yeah, and also the weapons of mass destruction that Bush was talking about, they're the kind of weapons that have teleport devices attached to them because, you know, when you get to the country, they just disappear.
See, to me, he was looking for the super soldier serum. He read too many comics and thought, hey, I could be Captain America if I go over and get the serum for Saddam. Yeah.
And also, I think he was trying to, make his own version of the Extremis.
Yes. That was something Mr. Bush would do.
Yeah.
So.
But this is the kind of Extremis that he would snort.
Oh, yeah. Or choke on a peanut. Or pretzel.
Yeah.
So to wrap this up, the final score was the Dace Man is wrong. Italy did not cause their downfall. And all three actually caused it. So winner goes to the panel. Coming up next, we're going to go into...
You know what the reason they lost World War II was?
What's that?
America! Fuck you! It's America's fault.
Yeah, I still wish they won, though. I would love a world with all Super Saiyans.
What?
Blonde hair and blue eyes. Everybody screaming.
You're not blonde hair or blue-eyed.
You know what?
I wish I was.
Oh, right.
I would say I'm a Super Saiyan.
He hates himself for not being that.
Nobody on this
Dragon Ball Z. It makes sense now.
It does, and
it was Japan's goal.
But then we went and turned Japan into Godzilla territory.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Oh boy. So, moving on to the next topic, and it's time for the Dace Man's High Five.
Self-five for the big dog.
Yes, I love that sound clip. So this week's High Five comes from the comics that you should be reading this summer while you're laying on the beach. Now, the first recommendation I have for you is Jeff Johns' run it, the Green Lantern franchise. I absolutely love it, and I will talk about it all the time because it's fantastic, and I have orgasms over thinking about it. Also, if you're in that market of superheroes, pretty much this entire list is, Joss Whedon's approach to Astonishing X-Men was a brilliant run. Frank Miller's All-Star Batman and Robin. Mark Miller's Wolverine, Old Man Logan. And lastly...
That's one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, it was fantastic. And lastly, Robert Kirkman's Walking Dead, because there's a lot of time before that show comes back on. Gentlemen, do you agree, disagree? Something else should be added to the list?
I agree. Totally and utterly agree. Jeff Jones' Green Lantern, that totally reinvigorated the series for everybody. Before then, Hal Jordan was getting stale and they decided to turn him villainous. I would add an extra comic to your list. And for me, it was an intriguing read, and it's something that's done wonders for the Marvel Universe, Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say give that a nice little read, guys, because it's a great little series. It's also brought Hank Pym back into the spotlight.
Yay!
And with the Green Lantern series, you'd have to look at pre-52 and then after 52 as well.
Yes, absolutely. I'm up to date on that, the Green Lantern.
Yeah, and Blackest Night, that's one of my biggest faves out of the franchise.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, spot on. Totally spot on.
Dan, I know you don't read comics.
Yeah, I wasn't listening. I was playing Pokemon on my phone.
You are an excellent host. Mr. Payton?
I would recommend people check out Cyanide and Happiness, which is a wonderful webcomic, and that's about the extent of knowledge I have about comics.
Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen, the Dace Man's High Five Comics for 2013 Beach Reading.
Self-five for the big dog.
I love hitting that so much. But you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. It's bringing into one of the most popular segments because we've only done one. But it's the Douche Bag of the Week.
You're a douchebag. Douchebag. Douchebag.
And the Douchebag of the Week goes to Chicago O'Hare International Airport. You sons of bitches, I've passed through you for 2 weeks in the past month, and you've delayed me each time. Ground stops, ridiculous and rude gate agents, and you're just unfathomably mind-blowing when it comes to this shit. You sit me down in the waiting area just to tell me that, A, we're 20 minutes late, and then once you get me on the plane, we're going to sit on the tarmac for another hour. Yes, that's exactly what I want to hear before I board the plane. You're not going to get flipped off or anything. You guys are absolute idiots, and whenever I pass through there, you never seem to get anything on time. Also, way back in the Wayback Machine, we find out that you jackasses out there went and left an entire half a flight's luggage behind in your city. One bag I can completely understand. That's a hit or miss with about 300 to 350 passengers on your plane. You miss one bag, okay. But when you miss half the plane's baggage, go fuck yourself. And that's why you are the Douchebag of the Week. Gentlemen?
And I'll carry off on that. It was in about 2004 or 2005, I think, I went from New York to Minnesota to visit a friend that I had out there. And I made a layover in Chicago. And I've done many layovers throughout my life. I mean, I used to fly down to Florida twice a year, and I would always do a layover in Raleigh-Durham. But at O'Hare, my flight somehow got messed up, and I ended up having to stay at Chicago O'Hare Airport for 8.5 hours before I even boarded another plane. And on the way back, my luggage was damaged. I brought a guitar with me, a guitar I had just gotten for the previous Christmas, and the neck on it was broken when I had gotten back to JFK Airport.
Wow.
They are absolutely pitiful and disgraceful when it comes to their service and with their handling of luggage. It's just ridiculous. My bag was torn in so many areas because of the way it was handled at Chicago O'Hare.
Yeah, fuck you, Chicago.
Reimburse you guys for stuff like that, or do they just sit there and go, "We didn't know what happened"?
No, they took no responsibility for my broken guitar.
Yeah, those lucky sons of bitches the United Airlines had me sign a waiver on my baggage when I signed up in Oklahoma City. So therefore, when I got back to Philadelphia and it was destroyed, I had nothing I can say against them.
That's bullshit. Total and utter bullshit.
See, I debated with the Douchebag of the Week between Chicago O'Hare or just airports in general, because Delta royally fucked me a couple weeks ago. But Chicago really tipped the iceberg because they got me twice, and then my parents were coming back from Seattle, and they got them the next day. So I came home on the past Friday. My parents came home the Saturday after, and they got us both because they are terrible.
Chicago's especially bad. I mean, airports in general, I've had a lot of good experiences with the airport. I mean, I live right next to and worked at for a number of years Stewart International Airport in New Windsor. Mm-hmm. Great airport. Everything's run very smoothly there, but it's also relatively small. It was just recently bought out by the Port Authority, so it's getting bigger and bigger. But and even the New York City airports are generally okay. Actually, I think Newark kind of sucks. But JFK and LaGuardia are usually pretty good. Even though they're so busy, I think they keep it going pretty smoothly. Raleigh-Durham was awesome. I loved being in the Raleigh-Durham airport. Orlando had a great airport. I don't know much about anywhere else, but I've had good experiences pretty much everywhere except
Chicago. Comes to the top three worst for me. It goes Chicago, Newark, and then I ran into problems in Houston every time I've passed through there.
Oh, fuck Texas.
See, Dan Ralph has seen the Texas struggle.
I just don't understand how they can let service go down the shitter like that. That's ridiculous.
Well, the one thing that, and I digress here, but Delta, I got there 2 Mondays ago to catch a flight out to Oklahoma City for work, and I showed up an hour and a half before the flight. Now, you're supposed to check your baggage in exactly an hour before the flight. Otherwise, it's late, and normally you have to rebook. I got there an hour and a half early and stood in line for 45 minutes for them to tell me that, oh, well, you didn't check your baggage in time, because they had one person working a line of 40 people, and they're going to blame me for coming an hour and a half ahead of time, a half hour before I was supposed to be there, and then book me to Salt Lake City and turn my day into 14 hours rather than the original 6 to 7 that it was supposed to be. So, Delta, you can go fuck yourselves, too.
Oh, my God, I'm so glad I don't fly at the moment.
Oh, it's terrible. But then, U.S. Airways in Philadelphia and anywhere I've gone with U.S. Airways, it's been nothing but a pleasure. And I don't know if it's because I have status with them or because, I'm biased when it comes to those guys, but they have never steered me wrong, whereas United, Delta, and Chicago O'Hare have consistently screwed me over.
Yeah, for me it was American Airlines. They were just awful. Listen, a country cannot survive without a really good infrastructure, and everything in America as far as our transportation has just been going to absolute shit. The roads are awful everywhere you go. Potholes. There's still roads in my town, Newburgh, which is a pretty big town for New York State, still have brick roads. We still have brick roads from the 1800s. It's ridiculous. Okay, the train systems, no one gives a shit about them anymore. Japan's got those fancy bullet trains, whatever they got over there. We're still running on. Have you seen the trains the MTA has? The bombardiers or whatever they call them.
Oh yeah, God, I know the train we take from Hamilton into New York City is terrible as well.
Yeah, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, transportation is terrible, but for this week and this week alone, Chicago O'Hare, you are the douchebag of the week.
You're a douchebag. Douchebag.
And with the douchebag of the week, we draw to a close the Dace Man Show, Episode 2. This is the time of the show where we let people plug things, so I'm going to go in a little reversed order because I know this guy's not going to have shit to plug. Dan Ralph, what do you have to promote?
Besides my muscles and I'm flexing?
I wish I could say it was a pleasure having you here.
Oh, I know you love me.
I do, and I hope you return next week and, just talk to a mirror for 5 minutes a day, and then you'll be able to bring stuff to the conversation.
Are we doing one next week?
Absolutely. We'll be doing live from Virginia Beach.
Beachside.
Beachside. Mr. Payton.
All right. Well, for those who want to follow me personally, you could do so by finding me on pretty much all social networks with the handle MRPADEN. That's Mr. Payton. I'm on the Facebooks, the Twitters, the Instagrams, and who knows, if you can convince me, I might join something else. I am the president here at Mega Powers Radio, and I certainly appreciate anyone who's listening to this show to support it, and I invite you to check out the other shows we have going on here, such as the Monday Night Raw post show. If you're a wrestling fan, we go live immediately after the conclusion of Raw. On Tuesday nights, we have Geek Speak with myself, Brandon. Mr. Burhan's been there the last couple of weeks. You never know who else might show up, where we talk all things geek. On Saturday nights, we have I Got Gameplay at 8 p.m., which I'll let Mr. Burhan go more in depth about, It's a video game show, and he'll give you the better rundown on that. And also check out on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. my other podcast that I do a lot, Keeping Kayfabe, where wrestling is still real to us.
Damn it!
Thank you. And we go live at 9 p.m. on Dream Elite Radio, a separate radio station. That's blogtalkradio.com/Dream Elite. And that's pretty much all I'm going to be pushing here. So, yeah, keep listening to Mega Powers Radio, folks. This thing's been going really well the last few weeks. And I'm very impressed with Chris Dace's show. He's an awesome host. Keep supporting the show.
Thank you. I'm blushing. You can't tell, but I'm blushing. Mr. Burhan.
As everyone knows, I'm very frequent on this YouTube thing. I've recently just done a video on Microsoft taking away two of our free-to-play games in Assassin's Creed 2 and Halo 3. So if you guys want to check that out, you can do. Go to youtube.com/TheNerdGenius, NERDGENIOUS. And yes, it's spelt wrong because it just is. And also... It's ironic, exactly. And also, you can check out nerdgenius.com, NERDGENIOUS.com, fanboysanonymous.com, which is what I'm doing things in association with. And it's Bill Murray Fortnite, Everything Bill Murray in 2 weeks, where I do reviews of stuff like Ghostbusters, Moonrise Kingdom, and the next review's coming is Zombieland, and Ghostbusters 2, of course. And I'm doing a playthrough on Twitch TV of Ghostbusters. I'm a very busy man, people, so I do loads of stuff, so make sure that you do loads of stuff with me. Love you all.
Dace, can I throw one more thing out there, please?
Absolutely.
This show, as well as many of the other shows on Mega Powers Radio, are often archived on fanboysanonymous.com, so maybe you're even listening to us there. So if you're not, you can always find old episodes you may have missed on fanboysanonymous.com. You can also find them on youtube.com/megapowersradio or by searching Mega Powers Radio on iTunes. And that's all. Thank you.
Woo! As for me, August 3rd, 7 p.m. bell time in Williamstown, New Jersey, you can catch Chris the Dace Man, Dace the Savage, tying it up in the ring, and from rumor has it, the band of Savages may be reuniting, and I'm excited to see if that will go down. So check us out, August 3rd, 7 p.m. Yours truly will be there. In what capacity, you'll never know because I'm a savage and I'm wild. You can also see me writing on Fanboys Anonymous from time to time. Be here every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, broadcasting the Dace Man Show. And you can follow me on Twitter, @TheDaceMan. Trust me, I say some weird, funny, off-the-wall stuff, and I love chatting with people. So, on behalf of all the gentlemen here, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. This is the Dace Man. There's the few, there's the proud, and then there's the Dace-tacular. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.